Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive today. You sent in this super interesting YouTube video
Oh, yeah.
about the global village,
Mm,
and wow, it really got me thinking.
for sure.
It's from Rumman Ansari's channel, and it dives into how technology is connecting us all
Mm,
in ways we could never have imagined before.
yeah.
It's almost like the world is shrinking,
Yeah.
Like we're all kind of living in this big digital town square now.
Yeah, it really is. It's a fascinating concept. And the video does a great job of
Right.
explaining both the amazing possibilities and then also some of the potential problems.
Yeah, the downsides, right?
Yeah, it actually compares what's happening right now to a new kind of industrial revolution,
Wow.
but driven by information and communication technology.
Yeah, that's a really powerful analogy.
It is.
It really highlights how much all of this tech is impacting every single part of our lives.
Right. And the video goes on to paint this picture of, people from all over the world knowing each other, sharing news, even supporting each other in times of, joy or sorrow, no
Yeah.
matter how far apart they actually are physically. It's almost like a modern day version of a traditional village
Uh-huh.
where, community and connection were everything.
Yeah, it's a beautiful vision,
It is.
right? But the video doesn't just pretend everything's perfect.
Yeah.
It also brings up
No, not at all.
Marshall McLuhan,
Oh, yeah.
that Canadian philosopher from way back in the 1960s,
Yeah.
who was already talking about this global village concept back then.
Right. He was so ahead of his time.
Yeah.
McLuhan was incredibly insightful. He argued that technology would eventually erase the barriers of time and space,
Yeah.
making the world feel much smaller and more interconnected.
It's crazy how much has changed even since then.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Imagine back then making an international call.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was a huge deal.
That was a big production, right?
Exactly. You had to book it in advance.
Uh-huh.
And it cost a fortune. And now we can video chat with someone across the globe instantly. It's just we're all digital neighbors now, just in a village where everyone knows everyone else. This shift is exactly what McLuhan was getting at.
Yeah, and the video highlights so many concrete examples
Yeah.
of how this is playing out, in the world of business.
Uh-huh.
It mentions how companies can now source talent globally thanks to this ease of communication.
Totally.
Imagine working with a team of people from all over.
Yeah.
A designer in Italy, a programmer in India, all collaborating from your home office.
Exactly. That's just one example of how McLuhan's idea of space becoming less relevant is playing out in the real world. It's pretty fascinating.
But of course, as the video points out, there are also some potential downsides, right? To all this increased interconnectedness.
Oh, for sure. There are always downsides.
It talks about the risks of misinformation spreading like wildfire and the potential for social and political disruption. It even raises concerns about things like cybercrime and privacy violations.
Yeah, all really important issues to think about. It's not all sunshine and roses.
Definitely not.
The video makes it clear that just having the technology isn't enough. We need to develop awareness, critical thinking skills, and the right infrastructure to ensure that the global village is a force for good. And it's especially important to think about the digital divide, the gap between those who have access to technology and those who don't.
Yeah, that's a huge issue.
It is. Not everyone is experiencing this interconnected world in the same way.
It makes you wonder if this digital town square isn't accessible to everyone.
Right.
Can it truly be considered a global village?
That's the question, isn't it?
But let's get into some more specific examples from the video.
Okay, sounds good.
One area where this global village effect is really apparent is communication. I mean,
Yeah.
think about how different communication is today compared to even 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I remember when long-distance calls were a huge expense.
Me too.
And now we video chat with family overseas like it's nothing.
It's incredible how much technology has changed our experience of distance.
Yeah.
And the video highlights how this shift has impacted everything.
Right.
From how we work to how we learn to how we consume news.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty mind-boggling, actually.
So let's talk about those areas one by one.
Okay.
Because I know you've got some great insights from the video.
Well, I've been thinking about it a lot.
What stood out to you about the impact on employment, for example?
Well, one thing that really struck me was how the video talks about the rise of remote work and global freelancing.
Yeah, that's a huge shift.
It is. It almost feels like the traditional 9-to-5 office job is becoming a thing of the past for many people.
It really does.
Oh.
And it's directly tied to this idea of the global village
Absolutely.
and McLuhan's concept of shrinking space.
Exactly.
It's no longer necessary to be physically present
Right.
in the specific location to contribute to a company or a project.
It's amazing.
And that opens up a whole world of possibilities, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It allows people to work for companies based anywhere in the world
Wow.
and to collaborate with colleagues from different cultures and backgrounds. The potential for innovation and cross-cultural exchange is really exciting.
It is. But of course, as with everything, there are potential downsides to consider as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The video points out that
This shift in employment can lead to concerns about job security and, the potential for exploitation.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that not all remote work opportunities are created equal.
It's almost like we need to develop a whole new set of guidelines for this globalized workforce.
I think that's a key takeaway from this video. As the world becomes more and more interconnected, we need to be way more thoughtful about how we approach things like labor rights and fair compensation on a global scale.
It's definitely not a simple issue. Another area the video dives into is education. And it really highlights the transformative potential of online learning. I mean,
it's huge.
Think about it. Now, anyone with an internet connection can access courses from top universities around the world.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
The video emphasizes how this access to knowledge can empower individuals and create opportunities for people who might not have had them otherwise. It's particularly powerful for those who live in remote areas or who can't afford traditional education.
It almost feels like online learning could be a great equalizer in a way.
It could be.
But as the video reminds us, there's that issue of the digital divide again.
Right, exactly.
Not everyone has equal access to technology or reliable internet.
That's a major challenge. And the video really stresses the importance of bridging this gap. If we want the global village to be truly inclusive, it's not enough to simply make educational resources available online. We need to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to access them.
To benefit from them.
Exactly.
It's about creating a level playing field, so to speak.
Exactly.
So we've talked about communication, employment, and education. Another area where this global village concept is having a huge impact is in the news media.
Oh, yeah.
Information travels at the speed of light these days.
It does.
And it's harder than ever to discern fact from fiction.
That's one of the biggest challenges we face in this interconnected world. The video highlights how misinformation can spread rapidly through social media and online platforms. And it underscores the importance of developing critical thinking skills. And media literacy.
It's almost like we need a whole new set of tools.
I think so.
For navigating this constant flow of information. We can't just passively consume everything we see online.
No.
We need to be more discerning.
Absolutely.
More critical in our approach.
And the video encourages us to be active participants in this information landscape. To question sources, to cross-reference information, to be wary of anything that seems too good to be true. It's about taking ownership of our own information consumption.
And speaking of consuming, think about how much of our entertainment now comes from all over the world.
I know, it's amazing.
Music, movies, TV shows, it's all at our fingertips, thanks to the internet.
It's a fascinating example of how the global village has expanded our horizons. When it comes to what we watch and listen to. It's exposing us to new cultures, new perspectives, new ways of thinking.
It's like we're all becoming world citizens in a way.
In a way, yes.
But as with everything else, the video doesn't shy away from the potential downsides.
No, it doesn't.
This increased cultural exchange. It cautions us about the risks of cultural homogenization. And the potential for dominant cultures to overshadow smaller ones.
It's a valid concern. We need to be mindful of preserving cultural diversity as the world becomes more interconnected. It's about celebrating our differences while also recognizing our shared humanity.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
And it's clear that this global village concept is incredibly complex.
It really is.
It has the potential to bring us together.
And
create incredible opportunities. But it also presents some serious challenges.
It's a mixed bag, for sure. But I think the video's ultimate message is one of hope and empowerment. It suggests that while there are definitely risks involved, we also have the power to shape this global village into a force for good.
It's about making conscious choices and taking responsibility for our actions in this interconnected world. What kind of global villagers do we want to be? That's the question we're left with.
That is the question, isn't it? If we embrace this interconnectedness with intention and awareness, we can create a global village that benefits everyone.
Right.
It's about fostering collaboration, understanding, and a shared sense of responsibility for our planet and for each other.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the global village, what's the one key takeaway you hope listeners will walk away with?
I'd say it's this. The global village is here, and it's evolving rapidly. It's up to each of us to engage with it thoughtfully, to be critical thinkers, to advocate for inclusivity, and to work together to shape it into the kind of world we want to live in.
That's a powerful message.
Yeah.
It's a great note to end on. It's not about being overwhelmed by all of this, you know?
Right.
It's about recognizing that we each have a role to play
Me too.
in shaping this future.
Absolutely. And that starts with being informed and asking questions.
Yeah, having these kinds of conversations.
Exactly.
So to our listener, thank you so much for sending us this video.
Yeah, it was great.
It's really sparked a fascinating discussion.
It has.
And we hope this deep dive has given you even more to think about.
For sure.
We'd love to hear your thoughts too.
Yes. What resonated with you the most about this whole concept of the global village?
Yeah.
What excites you? What concerns do you have?
Feel free to share your reflections with us. Maybe it'll even inspire a future deep dive.
Definitely.
After all, this is an ongoing conversation.
It is.
And the more perspectives we hear,
The better.
the better we can all navigate this increasingly interconnected world.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting.
And keep those questions coming.
Yes, definitely.